Well, hello there. This is Rick Gonzalez-Rothi again with Mango for You, where we talk about health, writing, and odd and unusual things. Today we're going to talk about some odd and unusual things, primarily horses. I've always loved horses. But what if I told you about a horse that has a head like a horse and a tail like a monkey and a pouch like a kangaroo, and whose eyes move independently in all kinds of directions? Yep. Today we're going to talk about when a horse is not a horse. Hope you like it. Back when old Homer wrote the Iliad, he talked about a guy named Poseidon, who was a Greek god. He came out of the water in a chariot, and he would come in and out of the waves, and this chariot was pulled by horses that had the head of a horse and the tail of a dolphin. The Greeks called them
Hippocampus.
Hippo for horse, Campus for sea monster. And that's where the whole thing really started. But you see, it hasn't always been that simple, because many other cultures have talked about these kind of odd sea monsters. In fact, in Scottish folklore, they talk about these kind of evil creatures called kilpies that come out of the water and take a shape of a horse, and they're usually gray or white, and if anybody rides them, the evil kilpies may take them back down into the sea to their demise. So begins the tale of the hippocampus. I bet you if you ask most people what sort of animal a seahorse is, they won't realize that they're under the species of fish. They don't have scales, but they have a bony skeleton, and they actually have gills, and they have just one dorsal fin. They are probably the slowest swimming of all fish that exist. It's about 54 varieties of different species all over the world. And what's interesting is some are about a foot tall, while others can be just under a half-inch tall, the dwarf seahorses. They're fascinating animals, and how biology ever put these animals together, I will never know. They have no teeth, no stomachs, and they constantly eat. In fact, some seahorses have been known to eat about 3,000 brine shrimp in one day. That's constantly eating. They also have very unusual behaviors. Since they can't swim very well, they have to protect themselves, so they anchor themselves by their monkey-like tails, sometimes to floating debris, sometimes to coral, other times to seagrasses. And because they have such bony surfaces, they're not very appealing to predators. They also, like octopus, can change colors so that they are great camouflage. And they're basically moochers. Since they don't swim very well, they basically can latch on and hitchhike with floating debris across the ocean. I think, though, their behavior is what's most fascinating. These animals are serial monogamists. They pair up with a male and female for months and months, and they will not hang around with anybody else. During their mating season, they will often do daily morning rituals of dancing and coiling around each other. And get this, the females inject their eggs into the pouch of the male, and the male carries the pregnancy. Oh boy, that's sure to cause some evolutionary consternation among some people. However, it's true. And they can pop out about 1,500 little seahorses, but even less than half of them percent of them ever survive. Yeah, that's not too many seahorses that survive in nature, but made even worse is the fact that about 150 million seahorses every year are harvested for traditional Chinese medicines. Many of these are poached illegally, leading to actually the demise and the endangered species of seahorses. About another million are sold as trinkets and desiccated little keychains and sorts of things you buy in junk shops. And about another million are sold as pets. And even experienced aquarians know that most of these won't even survive 5 to 6 weeks in captivity, which is a crying shame to have such a beautiful and unusual animal and that we're not exactly helping it out. Well, there you have it. Little capsule summary about when a horse is not a horse, but a hippocampus. Oh, there's something I forgot. Back in the 16th century, there was an anatomist named Giulio Aranzio, and he was cutting up people's brains and examining them. And he found a structure that looked kind of wiggly and wormly. And he couldn't figure out what to name it, so he named it the hippocampus.
It looks like a seahorse.
The hippocampus, now we know, is one of the parts of the brain that helps us consolidate memories. So, in case I forget to tell you one more thing, my hippocampus is still working.
Tell your hippocampus, remember to subscribe.
See you next time. Hasta la pasta.